Greetings and welcome back to Switch to Linux and another distro wars. And somebody gave me this idea. Let's have a look at two beta releases. This is not a battle of the beta males. We're not going to be doing a low T count distro wars. We are just going to be doing a distro wars of two distros in beta. Those being ZorinOS and Linux Mint. Two excellent distributions, and I actually did a separate video on each of their beta releases. ZorinOS, of course, came out back in April, almost a little over 2 months ago, in fact. Linux Mint beta just dropped. If you did not watch that video, we have a lot of information on that. And with this, we're going to have a look at what Zorin versus Linux Mint would have to offer. Let's go ahead and check in on some comments here first. Let me pop this guy out so I can read it a little bit more conveniently here for me. Let's see. There's some discussion on Windows 3.1, Windows 95, really old computer type stuff. Computers as a Rolodex with subdirectories. You'll have computers first design. Boring. Girls, guys, businesses that were Microsoft tried to focus on secretaries. Games and video editing were Mac's aim. Today we have smartphones, so everyone's fair game. There you go. Oh, boy. We communicate one-on-one or divorce happens. Uh-oh. Yeah, we don't want that to happen. All right. Decided to forego the cloud computing for now. Just kind of silly to rent computers when you can build and own them. Yes, everything is going on rental mode. The $3,000 Pelentone, what are they? Treadmills are going on the rent model. You pay $3,000 for it, but they are crippling them unless you have the $40 a month subscription service. I figure you probably have Apple devices too. You paid this much money for it, and you can't use it unless you pay us a continuing monthly fee. Over on Discord, my Linux diary says, well, hello, fun fact, never used Zorin or Mint. Nice, there you go. John McAfee is dead. Did that just happen? I thought I've heard that rumor multiple times. Let's see, more cost effective to own your own hardware. Absolutely. Keeping my Nextcloud instance with CloudMO though. Yeah, I mean, having Nextcloud and things like that hosted on other people's servers is a good thing. Mitchell, how's it going there? Keep in my head and in the cloud, but not my data. Plus, I've noticed that for super duper sensitive data, companies keep it on site. The old thing about the cloud is true. That's right. Blue is on. Greetings. Greetings. Curious to see the new kitties level cat house shelving in the back of the studio I have built. I have not built a new studio, or have I built a new studio? What's going on with that super secret project anyway? Well, you supporters know. You supporters have received a video in wherever you're supporting at, if you do not know. And I will attempt to get some footage out today for the news. No promises on that yet, but we'll see. Let's see. Security cameras have those subscription thingies nowadays. I know, right? You know, there's problems. AWS is yours, like rent a season. Yeah. John McAfee is probably dead. News reports say he offed himself in the Spanish prison waiting extradition to U.S. Text some people close to him, and they said it was true. Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be extradited to the U.S. right now. We are definitely more Gestapo than Russia is. Like Russia's like, Putin's like, was it Biden says, you're like this evil bad dude. He's like, dude, we don't even treat our prisoners as bad as you do. I mean, America's a joke to the world right now. It's kind of funny. In 2020, I'm surprised. Debian more secure than Fedora or Rocky? I would say so they're all kind of different things. Rocky or Fedora would be slightly closer, both being based on Red Hat. I would say those are all very secure branches. Rocky is going to be focused on being a server, so might be better for running a server on Rocky rather than Fedora or Debian. But Debian does have a lot of advantages of using servers. If I'm managing a server myself, I generally prefer Debian, mostly because I'm not as familiar with Red Hat and I know Debian very well. And I've not had any issues with it. So I think they're probably going to be about the same if you're talking about a server. Desktop, Rocky's not going to be a good desktop server. Should you pay to watch TV? It depends on what you're watching, I guess. I don't watch U.S. politics because it's a joke. Well, yeah, I mean, U.S. is a joke right now. U.S. is a joke. So anyway, well, with that, let me go ahead and put my comments back there and in their comment box, and we'll go ahead and get started. We have a hard cutoff at, I think 5. If we can finish by 4:45, that'd be better, but 5, I can hard cut off at 5 if I need to. All right, let me go ahead and mark where my comments are here. And we'll get started. Whoop, that's not what I needed. That's what I needed. There we are. Welcome back to Switch to Linux and another Distro Wars. So today we were requested to have a look at Zorin versus Linux Mint, but the caveat is look at the new betas. I probably have compared ZorinOS versus Linux Mint in the past. I didn't actually go back to see if I did or not, because this one here, we're not looking at the distributions as they are out. We are looking at the distributions as they are coming out. So I did a review on Linux Mint's new 20.2 beta, which is going to be an LTS here on Monday this week. And Zorin came out, the Zorin 16 beta came out in, I think it was April 15th or so, just in time for tax time, you know. Give your distraction away from doing your taxes if you're here in the joke land of USA. And with that, though, we're going to be looking at what these two have to offer. So having a look at their websites, what ZorinOS 16 wants to do is they're doing some new look, which is a little bit better improvement of a look. However, it is more of this modern, bulky, big, rainbowy. It's not a UI design I like. So we'll comment a little about the UI designs and choices as we go along, but at the same token, that's kind of what it is. They do have some changing wallpapers that will change with your day. Here's your new blurred animation like Windows is doing, like Mac is doing, and then we also, the other huge thing that they've done is we have FlatHub now integrated into the system as well. So Zorin has snaps, Flatpaks, and your main repositories. Of course, you can install your .deb files as well, making it a very good platform if you want the widest variety of software with the upgrade models involved in Snap and Flatpak. We do have a new tour, which gets you there. There is a Zorin Connect app. I keep on hitting the next button, and I think it's crashing for me, so we'll see if that's the case. Here's some touchpad gestures that are in here. So they really are working on some things. I think that is something that was integrated with the latest GNOME version. New sound recorder app. There's some customization to the taskbar, and we do have some new appearance designs. There's more appearance designs if you purchase the paid version of Zorin, but the free one does have a lot. And coming soon, new Windows 10 X, whoops, that's going to die. But hey, Windows 11 will be out. The new Windows 11-like layout will be out soon. Yay! So we can get all of the ugly styling elements. And of course, here's your jelly, just very much like Mac. So it's kind of trying to be this combination of a lot of the different things. Now, what Zorin mostly has been more controversial of as of late is that they were actually caught collecting some form of census data. Now it is an opt-out. It is an opt-out when you install it. There's an option to opt out of the census data collection, which takes a list of the users, or at least the number of users installed on the computer, the software being used. So it's a little bit shady, but at least they are open about the fact that it exists. Linux Mint, on the other hand, they've always had their own different philosophy with their, basically with Linux Mint. They want to do the best that they can for privacy as well. So they're not involved in a census. They've indicated they don't know, they don't really care. The only information that Linux Mint gets is a brief ping on the number of systems on the default web browser. So if you download it, Linux Mint, if you open up Firefox without making any changes to it prior to, then the home page you land on pings that says, hey, there's a person, and I don't think they collect IP addresses, but I don't know that for sure. So there's a small amount of information which is in no way tied to the operating system. It is only tied on the start page, which, by the way, you could spoof it by setting the page for your Linux Mint distro to your main starting page on Firefox or any web browser, really. And with the 20.2, they brought a lot of changes. They brought the new version of Cinnamon, version 5. They have some new changes to the update manager. Some of these are more controversial in that they will tell you if there's been updates that have been ignored. However, you can disable these or at least postpone them for a very long period of time. You can also now update the Cinnamon spices, so the desklets, applets, other extensions to the Cinnamon desktop in the update manager as well. We also have some new features to tell Cinnamon at what level can it restart itself to possibly prevent a crash. And you can see there's a few other things in here as well. We have a new bulk file renamer, a new sticky note tool, and Warpinator now has an Android version. So it's kind of like the Zorin Connect. However, I can't really test the Zorin Connect to see how it is. I know how Warpinator works, and the Warpinator does work by basically just being available on any computer in your network. It doesn't have to be Linux Mint. Any computer in your network with the Flatpak Warpinator application can sync files between your computer and your smartphone. It does have the Google Play link. This is available on F-Droid with the Is-It repository as well. And it is linked officially. So there's some Cinnamon 5 work, and then there's a little bit of extra improvements and changes down the road. Now, some of the other differences you're going to get in these two is if you need Wayland support, you're going to want to go with Zorin. Linux Mint does not offer any support for Wayland yet. They just don't consider it mature and stable enough to use. That is coming down the pipeline, so maybe they will start supporting it soon. Who knows? But Zorin defaults to X, but has Wayland as an option on the login screen. That's something that you do not get within Cinnamon, or within Linux Mint, rather. So that's one of the things. Also, the desktop environment choices. Zorin has two different desktop environment choices. They have the XFCE and the GNOME, and Linux Mint has Cinnamon, XFCE, and Mate. So you have a few different options, and then you can install some other desktop environments onto each one of them as well. But out of the box, that is really what you are going to get. So with that, what we're going to do here is we're going to start in by having a look at Zorin, and we'll just have a quick look around here. Again, refer to the videos I did on each of these with the beta release videos, and I'll go ahead and have those linked here, at least on YouTube with cards, and you can find them on the other channels as well. And of course, while we're waiting for Zorin to load, you can find me also on Rumble, on BitChute, on Library as well. And I post some videos over there to Josh Who TV. Sometimes that works well, sometimes it doesn't. Anyway, over here to Zorin, you can go ahead and click on your name here, and we have our gear down here. You can see we have the X as the default, and then we have the Wayland option as well. So you can go ahead and log in either one of those. So if you happen to need one of them or the other, Zorin is going to be your better choice because it has that as an offering. Now, one of the challenges that we get inside of Zorin, in my perspective, or maybe a major benefit from your perspective, it really depends. Do you like snaps, flat packs, all these types of alternative means of packaging your software? Because Zorin has them implemented, and I don't know if you can easily turn them off by default. However, for me, I'm not a huge fan of snaps particularly, so I like Linux Mint in that it blocks snap by default, so snap does not inherently get installed by some other means. Maybe you're installing some application that installs snap out of the box. Who knows? So with Zorin, we do have a welcome screen. It is called Tour. This is going to walk you through what you have. Let's go ahead and start your tour. So you have your menu, of course. Oh, click on a menu to launch apps. Really? Did we really need that in a tour? I would figure most people know that. You can launch the Zorin Appearances app, which if you don't find it there is under, I think it's called Zorin Appearance here. So you can launch that app there. We'll look at that in a little bit because that is one of the one of the key selling points here. We can install guest editions easily for VirtualBox here. You can connect your online accounts. This is something that Linux Mint also offers. This one offers it through GNOME. The other Cinnamon has that as a feature through Cinnamon. And you can launch the Zorin Connect. We'll play around with that. I did not get that to work. Here's your installing your applications. And then LibreOffice is installed. We have an option to install only Office. So if you happen to need the docx, whatever, in theory, it works better. I did look at OnlyOffice in the context of being an author, and I was not impressed with it as an author. However, after I did that video, OnlyOffice reached out to me and said, how can we improve this for authors? And I told them, give me a month or so, and we'll look at it in closer order. So here is Zorin. The first thing we're going to do is, if I can type the word appearance, there we are. I'm an author who spelled appearance twice wrong. So you can jump in over here. Now this is the free version, which gives you 4 options. This is kind of your more modern looking. We also have more of a Redmond type where it spans these guys out. I really still don't like this view because, again, if you follow my channel, you know I hate this modern view of pinning stuff to the taskbar. You click it, it opens where it is. You click it again, it just minimizes the window. I want this to be a quick launch button where every time I click on this stupid thing, it opens an instance of the application. We do not have that option in Zorin, but we do have that option in Linux Mint. But at least we can see those. Here's more of like a Mac type view. So clicking on that. Come on, Zorin. You can do. Oh, I clicked that, not the menu. I was actually used to a Mac where that first button was your applications. Whoops. I hate this, but this is just their default search page. Ugh, Google sucks. There we are. So there we have it. And then we have this mode here, which gives us a little bit more of a, more traditional like GNOME look to it. So we do have a lot of different options involved in this guy. Let me just go back to our default. We also have, while we're in the Zorin appearance, you can change your accent colors. We just have a couple different colors to choose from. So just a few things. You can see it as this modern, bubbly, cutesy looking look. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I don't hate it completely either. Here's your interface. You can make your settings there. Here's your jelly mode if you want to turn the guy all jelly. Woo! I'm going to keep that off because that might not run as well in the virtual machine. You can see what our menus do. Here's your taskbar settings. Desktop, we can enable our desktop icons or disable our desktop icons. Those are all things that you're going to find inside Linux Mint as well. And of course, if you want to change your fonts, you can go ahead and do that. Now, we do have the Connect app. And as I said, last time I tested it around, it didn't seem to work for me. Oh, look at that. It actually worked that time. So here you can go ahead and grab it from F-Droid, Google Play. There's an add-on for the browser. So I haven't actually played around with this, but we do have options for that as well. So as far as Zorin is concerned, overall, it's a very nice, very intuitive, modern looking system. If you want modern looking, if you want something that works well out of the box, that is definitely its selling point. You can see over here, you can boot up your store. It's your basic software store. Let me just go ahead and do my search for Kdenlive, which I like to do because it's in the repositories, Flatpaks, and snaps. So click on this. You can see here that default was a snap store, but we can flip to the FlatHub. Here's the ZorinOS package. And you can see if I jump over to that FlatHub, it kicks me out of that snap option. Let me go back into there. So here's your FlatHub. We have the snap. We have the snap latest stable, latest candidate, latest beta. We have the latest Edge, and then we also have the repository version. So you can actually install any of those through this. So if you are looking for something that has a modern UI design, flexibility in how it looks, and ease of accent colors, basically more modularity and customizability, ZorinOS is going to be for you. If you do not have an aversion to snap packages, Zorin has that implemented in, and very easily on the GUI, you can install snaps, Flatpaks, and basic repository applications. And also don't forget, we do have the Wayland option. So these are actually all good options to use. And so Zorin itself is a very attractive deal. So now though, let's go ahead and have a look at what Linux Mint is going to look like. All right, we'll go ahead and have a look at some comments. We're going to go ahead and shut down Zorin, look at a few comments, and then so let me go ahead and pop out our chat, have a look at what it looks like here. Uh-oh. I lost some of the comments, so my apologies, guys. When I pulled the chat out, it got rid of a lot of the comments, so my apologies if I don't get to your comment. Operating system doesn't correct my spelling name. Doesn't rewrite that I typed nice. There you go. Okay. Decided to do forgo cloud. Okay, I guess I did get some of these on. Hey there, Ricky. How's it going there? Good to be a cat, isn't it? Yeah, I know. Okay. Hello from South Korea. Well, greetings, South Korea. How are you? Get some coffee while I'm waiting. It is a third cup of coffee day. I don't often have 3 cups of coffee, but it's one of those days. It was cold last night, so, you know, didn't sleep as much. Testing Debian 11 for some potential server upgrades. So far, so good. Very nice. Awesome. Heard that Red Hat locks enterprise with licenses and ties them even more aggressively than Microsoft. Honestly, I don't know, but Rocky Linux just released. That is the CentOS alternative. So it's basically Red Hat for free. So if you are concerned with Red Hat, look at Rocky. I actually played around with it the other day. It worked pretty well. I didn't do a video on it because it's, you know, it's not a desktop Linux, but I did want to have a look at it. I'd like to learn the Red Hat world a little bit more, so playing with it would be fun. Let's see. Hello, Padro. Greetings. I find it kind of funny how ZorinOS now just finally jumps onto the Ubuntu 20.04, which has been out for over a year now. I know, right? Zorin has a whole lot of eye candy, but it's almost distracting. I don't know. I think it might be. I kind of agree. Office uses Warpinator daily. Have you tried the Android version? Does it work well? If you have, yeah, looks true. McAfee is a corpse. Officials have told the routers he was found all stiff in his prison cell, and they suspect an offingness. All right. Install Brave via terminal and erase Firefox before using the browser. There you go. Or install Vivaldi instead. How's it going there, friend? Oh, you're back. You're trying to get banned for the Vivaldi again, aren't you? I don't know. I really hope Linux Mint would focus a bit more on performance like Zorin did. Actually, no, they did. They really did. The biggest performance issue with Mint was the Cinnamon issue, where sometimes it would use up too much memory. So it now has an automatic memory reset. Actually never tried Vivaldi. Chrome and Brave block it. Uh-oh. Like flat packs, but not snaps. I'm kind of in your boat there. Zorin Connect, no try LibreOffice, please, and thank you. Let's see. Yeah, they give you options. That's good. Only one thing about Thorin of the Hobbit. No, I don't know. Byron, Zorin 16 beta is excellent. Been using it since release and have had no issues. Same with Linux Mint 20.2 beta, though Mint doesn't seem to like my NVIDIA card on my desktop. Did you install it with the NVIDIA setting or run the NVIDIA video card application, which is in there? Jeff will stick with LMDE. There you go. Ben is currently using Zorin. Very good. Hello, nobody. Using Zorin with XFCE. There you go. Blackworm has just arrived. Yes, we just started looking at Zorin. I'm not sure when you got in, but we just, yeah, I think you just missed the Zorin part. Tried Zorin 16.2, no issues, but with GNOME, waiting for the XFCE. Look at Rocky Linux general release day. What do you want to see specifically on it? Basically, it's a terminal server. That's what Rocky Linux is. It says there's a GNOME version. I could not get it to work, but I think I had a misconfiguration in one of my VMs, so I will need to reinstall a little bit. Tom Little Brother, Zorin is too light or too dark. I prefer middle way. Mint have it. Yeah, that is a complaint They got better, but still they are still too light and too dark, in my opinion as well. I agree. Once you learn Red Hat stuff, Debian will feel like a drunk distro. I don't know. I like Debian though. You can uninstall Mint Welcome app by right-clicking it, but if you try, though, make sure your Pocket Computer won't let you. It says it could damage your system. Is it safe to remove? It's one of the things that's tied into. I think it's tied into something. It's tied into something. I probably would not remove it, but it's not like it takes a lot of big stuff. But what you do with it is you disable it from the auto start. 15 plus seconds to load on your high-end computer. Only upgrade you could do is using an SSD. Hungry again, but don't want to waste another pizza. Uh-oh. Windows 11, the next disaster. Yeah. Mom will likely bring food. Arby's or Chick-fil-A again. Woohoo. There you go. I've not been to Chick-fil-A in a long time, but I'm not a huge fan of it either. Tried Linux Mint Beta. Could not connect to the internet. Really? Easy to add and remove software you choose with Zorin, not as easy with some distros. Windows 10 plus Mac OS equals Windows 11. Uh-oh. All right, let's go ahead and put our comments back over there. Check in on Discord. Let's see. Did a Ryzen Tosh a couple weeks back. So the Radeon 57X wasn't able to do accelerated graphics. Yeah, I had to go with Manjaro on the Raspberry Pi rather than Debian because I just could not get a lot of things working right. Did it replace it with ZorinOS? Normally I go with Arch. There you go. Considering how 5000 series ran on Mac and no chance of 6000 yet. I don't have a Linux drive. I gave up on this machine. Too many issues. Okay. Different view on the taskbar app buttons. Where they exist, I much prefer them working like they do in Zorin, where they represent running app. If the app is running, usually I don't have taskbar buttons though. Yeah, I absolutely hate them. Just because my workflow has too many windows open and I need in many times multiple instances of the same application. And sifting through them all is a pain. I know exactly where each one is. I want that old traditional like. That's my thought. Vivaldi has some proprietary components. Mainly the UI is proprietary. Of all things, the UI is proprietary, but everything else is not. Go figure. Cockpit makes running SE Linux and Firewall super. Yeah, Cockpit was on my list to look at. I just haven't had a chance to look at it yet. There's a guy who lives in my neighborhood who's a server admin as well. And he was like, you should check out Cockpit sometime. So I'll do that. Okay. All right. Now let's go ahead and get started with Linux Mint here. Probably going to start selling Raspberry Pis. Yeah, that's it. I mean, I'll tell you what, if for a basic, for somebody that just needs to get on the internet and check their email, I mean, I'm doing my full web design work on it. Now for my more beefy stuff, this micro PC from Dell is absolutely amazing. I cannot tell the difference at all. In fact, it seems to run a little bit better than the Lenovo did, which I gave the Lenovo up to a friend who's working on learning Linux stuff. So, there we have. ThinkPads are nice. Yeah, I'm running Manjaro on my Raspberry Pi, and I've had 0 issues. All right. So here we are over on Mint's login screen. We click in our options. We have software rendering and default. So we'll go ahead and get logged in. There is, again, no Wayland option on Linux Mint Cinnamon. So if you do need Wayland, immediately Zorin is going to be your better of these two distributions. So when we go ahead and get logged in here, then we're going to see, if I haven't turned it off anyway, we're going to see the welcome screen. All right, so here we are. We are logged into the desktop. Here is your Linux Mint welcome screen. It will show until you tick this button here. You can also disable it from startup, and that's usually what I do when I'm done with it. It's just take it out of startup so it's less things running memory. They do have a very nice first steps option, which Zorin does not have. Where we do have the light and the dark theme options here. You can go ahead and just toggle them. I like the Linux Mint dark theme options way better than Zorin's. Zorin's are a little bit too dark for many people, and I think that the Linux Mint is easier to look at whether you're on light or whether you're on too dark. The light has a little bit of gray in it rather than staring at the center of the sun bright white, and the dark has, again, a little bit of gray in it, so it's not pitch black, which is in many ways, admittedly, hard to look at. So we'll go ahead and switch it over here. We also have a more traditional layout and a more modern layout. Your more traditional gives me exactly the format that I want it to be. Every time I click on this button down here, it's going to give me an instance that opens separately. That is exactly what I want to see. And for this reason, Cinnamon having the layout that is most familiar with me, this is exactly what I want, which is why I always go with Linux Mint as my default. So with this, we have system snapshots, which is something Zorin, it may have it here. You can certainly install this, but this is going to give you a good backup restore point for do this before you run updates. And if there's some problem, you can always roll back to the previous one. Driver Manager is available in both of them, which is an Ubuntu tool. Although Linux Mint is working on their own Driver Manager to become less dependent on Ubuntu. So this is an option. And then, of course, we have an Update Manager. We didn't look at updates in Zorin. We don't actually have a solid Update Manager, as it were. You will get a pop-up when there is an update to do. But other than that, you can go into the software store and check if you don't want that pop-up. Linux Mint does have the option down here. It has an update manager, and it will tell you if your system is up to date or not. We'll look at that in a bit here. Here's your system settings, software manager, and your firewall configuration. Here's documentation and help. So if you want to jump on over there, you can get some help with it as well. I changed, this is not the default wallpaper. I was playing with the wallpapers before I left the beta review the other day. So this is still the old default wallpaper. So first, let's go ahead and have a look at the Update Manager. If there is anything to update, it's going to be in here. We'll see the listing of all those, and then you can update the additional extensions and plugins and stuff, the spices, applets, desklets, from the Update Manager now. We can adjust our Linux kernels over here, and with this one here, we have, let's see, what do we have? I think it's going to ship with 5.4. Linux Mint oftentimes goes back to an LTS, older Linux kernel. The reason they do this is it's going to work with a wider spectrum of software or a wider spectrum of hardware. But you have the option to go back up into one that is a more rolling, more up-to-date kernel should you happen to need that. So that is an option that you have. Also, here's your software, here's your snapshots, here's your software sources. Preferences is where you can change the notifications. You can add certain packages to blacklist. So if there's a reason not to update a specific package, you can blacklist it, and then you can automate it with automatically updating things. Of course, everything is default disabled, but you can actually go ahead and do that, which is a good selling point over Linux Mint if you happen to want such a thing. As far as software is concerned, the software Linux Mint blocks snaps. That is controversial in the viewpoint, but there are some people that absolutely do not want snaps integrated with their system because it has a proprietary distribution method. Whether or not you like snaps or don't like snaps, Linux Mint disables it by default, and the reason they disable it by default is so that nothing is going to get in there and serendipitously add a snap package without you realizing it. They do provide clear documentation of how to re-enable snaps should you want snap packages, but by default, they don't do that. You can see here when we go into Arcade and Live, we only have two options. One of those is your One of those here is your Ubuntu repository, and the other one is the Flatpak. So those are kind of your options. They do have the Flatpaks. Now the Flatpaks have an option to auto update them. That again is disabled by default. So that is good. As far as our system settings, we don't have the nice multi-option layouts like Zorin does. I don't really think that makes a difference. I don't see that as something that's particularly useful where people can want to get in there and change their system every other day. You can actually do a lot of the different changes if you just, come down here and go into your panel settings and edit your panel. You can move it to different places. You can center everything. Whatever you want to do, you have those options. But we do have a very commonsensical settings panel, which is very much like the old traditional control panel, before Windows made it a bunch of nonsense stuff. Very easy to understand. You have your themes, your backgrounds, basic effects. You have general system preferences, which includes the general, which is where you can tell Cinnamon at what point in time, if Cinnamon's using too much memory, when do you want Cinnamon to automatically restart if it's taking too much memory. This is very good to prevent system crashes. We also have options like startup applications. If you don't want that Mint welcome screen, I disable that. I don't use NVIDIA, I disable that. So I like to go in through here and see what all's in here and disable things that I don't actually need. That'll help the system work a little bit better. We also have down here our hardware. You can set up your display settings, colors, networks, printers, and then some basic administrations. So drivers, login managers, things like that. So overall for me, I find that Linux Mint works the best for me in that it stays out of your way. It works really well. You don't get distracted by a lot of the elements on the screen. And also probably just a point of personal preference. Zorin looks very blocky, big, and modern. And I actually don't like big and blocky and modern. So for that reason, the basic appeal, the fact that Cinnamon for me seems to work a whole lot better than GNOME does, all of this together makes, for me, Linux Mint a better option. However, that is a lot of it has to do with some degree of personal preferences. For me, I like the old simplicity. I like how it feels. I don't want something big, new, modern, and that changes every other year with the fads of computers. So for me, it is definitely a clear winner of Linux Mint. However, I have to admit Zorin does have a lot of very good things going for it. If you want snaps, Zorin has that on the GUI by default. Absolutely excellent way to go. Also, if you need Wayland for some reason or you completely hate X, Zorin also is the only one of those. The biggest selling points for me, I like a traditional design. I like something that's sleek but stays out of my way. I also do not like data collection. And so I don't like the fact that Zorin wants you to collect a lot of information about your system unless you click a button to opt out. I'd be more comfortable if that was an opt-in, but they want the user data and the statistics and stuff like that because, it's going to help them make a better system. I still think Linux Mint is the superior system without collecting data. There are these things called forums where you can go to see what problems people are having. For me, Linux Mint is the way to go. ZorinOS, though, does have very good compelling. So on a completely unbiased viewpoint, I'd have to say it's a wash. They are both equally excellent distributions. They each have their good strong points. They have some weak points themselves. So there we have it, guys. No complete clear winner on a pure objective standards, but on my personal preferences, Linux Mint is superior. And that's just the way it is. But when I'm not using Linux Mint, I do use Arch, by the way. So anyway, with that, guys, thanks for watching. I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux. Alrighty, let's see. Inherit a case with perfectly for my main workstation, lots of storage space. All right. We're running Linux Mint Debian Edition on my main machine for a couple years now. No issues besides Cinnamon restarting itself a few times. Yep. Love the wallpaper. That's different, but really nice. Yeah, that is not the default, but that is one of the new Linux Mint 22 wallpapers. Pi is great for most things except YouTube. I don't know. Some people are having a lot of success running the Raspberry Pi 4, at least the 8 gig one, on 1080p on YouTube. I don't do a lot of YouTube on that. Although I've had no problems running YouTube on my Kodi box, which is on a Raspberry Pi 2. So I don't think you'd have a problem. My one computer, I do use the Raspberry Pi for production. I don't use YouTube a lot, so I actually have it locked at 480 just for purposes that I don't really need anything better than that. But I don't know, it should work fine, but I don't know. It depends. What are you guys? Anyone else using a Raspberry Pi 4 for YouTube? And what's your resolution and is it working? With desktop PC, use P53 as your workstation and X1 Carbon as your laptop. Both running Fedora. Very good. Post 89 Firefox. Yeah. Blech. Watches YouTube on her phone. I'm going to set her up with casting from her phone sometime soon. Yeah, casting in Linux, it's possible, but it's not all that good yet. I've actually done it on a Raspberry Pi with Steam Link before. It's a little laggy, but it does work. It's doable, but not the best. The box got to say relevant for things. War. Oh, wait. Yeah, you know. Let's see. Let me shut this guy down. All right, let's see. Find both distros about equal for users coming Windows. Mint was popular with XP users, whereas blue and white themers went to Zorin. All right. Blue and white themers, the Penn Staters? Just that distro wars should be restricted to 2 distros. For example, I really like to see a comparison of lightweight distros consolidated into a single video. Wait, what? Oh, should not be restricted to 2 distros. I don't know, maybe. What how far of a Raspberry Pi 5 we are? I don't know, that'd be cool though. Watching from Zorin Beta, but Mint Beta on another laptop. There you go. Raspberry Pi is just a rumor so far. Oh, rumor has it. You prefer the old style Windows XP like Mint menu at first when they finally modernized the panel off Cinnamon. Now you prefer the new style, right? I like it how it currently is. You find Raspberry Pi 4 be a big disappointment. I do wish there was a good Raspberry Pi 4 option that does not have Wi-Fi and Bluetooth integrated. Zorin does not collect a lot of data. It's really just the OS version. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Hey, the random, by the way. There you go, right? It's Mint close to 4 years now. Works great. A few times it did break. I was sure it was my fault. Yeah. Make an Arch tutorial from A to Z? Probably not. We heard a new distro built from scratch, not based on anything. Huh. No, I have not. I'll see if I can find it. Switched to Mint about 4 months ago. Absolutely love it. Stand with it. Absolutely. Yeah. 2 Acer netbooks with Atoms in them. They're picky about which distro works on. Mint XFCE does. Some Manjaro. Most others have tried, do not work. Yeah, my Acer netbook, mine does not have an Atom in it. Mine's, I think, the first model up above the Atoms. It's a Lenovo S21E. That's not an Acer, it's a Lenovo, I should say. I use MX on it, MX Linux, which works. 1080p, but get way more drop frames. All right. When I get Wayland on Mint, I don't know. Thoughts on the abusive relationship between QT Company and QT Foundation? I don't have any. Like to take any Linux distro over the nightmare that we know is Windows. There you go, yeah. Love Zorin, but Mint has always been my stable go-to. Tried Twister OS. It's a Twister! It's a Twister! No, I haven't. Let's check in on over here. Linux Mint daily usage for user-friendly beginner distro. ZorinOS daily usage, beginner-friendly distro, desktop usage. Consider Raspberry Pi to be like a IoT gadget device. Yeah, it works well for me, though. I've been working, 2 months on it now. I love it. It works great. Linux Tails versus Cubes. That'll be a hard one to do. I have not had the chance to mock up that Cubes on the laptop. I would like to, but I haven't had a chance to yet. All right. Well, I think we've hit the bottom of all the comments. I do have a kitty behind me. So let's see how I can get a kitty treat thing going here. I do need to reset some things on the kitty cam, though. Actually, here's what we're gonna try. We reset the kitty cam over here. Do that. And let me grab my kitty treats. I moved my kitty treats. I don't remember where I put them. There. Bink. I know, kitty, you're not usually allowed on the desk, but we have a special kitty treat edition. So you got to be on the desk for your kitty treats. Here you go. No, back up. Back up. Back up. Stay there. Stay there. Back up. Back up. You're too close. You're too close. Cat fur. All right. You gotta come off your desk now. There you go. There you go. Yeah. We say hi? He's like, hey, people. How are you guys doing? Meow. 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 All right. Let's see. Switch to Arch because of Mint updates. All right. So different. We have overlapping user cases. Cubes is so resource hungry. When it works great. Yep. Switch to Arch. Let's see. The way U.S. government is going, we'll all need to use Tails or Cubes as a daily driver soon. Probably. The kitty's favorite Linux distro, he uses Puppy Linux. So Kitty's distro uses Puppy. Yes. Painted Black has it right. Kitty's distro is Puppy. Because he's just kind of that kind of cat. Okay. Already concerned about microcrap signed package. Yep. Switch to Arch because of Mint updates. Yes, you've said that a couple times now. Feed the beast. All right, guys, we're going to jump off now, and we will see you guys tomorrow. We should be doing a supporters stream. So we'll see you guys then. Friday with the weekly news roundup. Does the kitty like XFCE? He really doesn't care. As long as he's got his Puppy Linux, he's all good, right? Right? You love your Puppy Linux? You love your Puppy Linux? Yeah? All right, guys. We're going to jump off. We will catch you guys later. And have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day.